is Nasir King. I've started a campaign concerning exercise-induced asthma or exercise-induced bronchodilation, whatever nomenclature you may have heard of it as. I've started this campaign because it's had direct implications on my existence as a being, and this is detrimental to any individual who seeks to enhance their overall health by engaging in productive activities such as any form of cardio, potentially weightlifting, but it's not as noticeable. Anyhow, if you have EIB, it's likely unnoticed and not of immediate concern, which is why there are some serious gaps in the research literature, which means that it's just understudied in totality. Thus, there's a current lack of substantiating evidence to support the widespread adoption of any existing EIB screening tools. A lack of screening tools prevents physicians from making accurate diagnoses. Research suggests that pediatricians should be trained to recognize this particular constellation of symptoms. This hole in the research also causes severity prediction to be poor, and with many cases being underestimated, which is a recipe for disaster caused by our own negligence as people. A personal anecdote that is tangential to this note is my personal experience with EIB. So whenever I engage in a strenuous bout of exercise, whenever I push myself to the limit, I immediately experience these symptoms, whether it be a nominal issue like eye swelling or shortness of breath to hives and feelings like you were going to pass out. So EIB is greatly misunderstood, and that is evident by the typical physician's inability to properly diagnose EIB as a subcategory of typical allergies. I'm not qualified to say this because I'm not medically trained or anything, but I do reckon that because of how broad the field of allergies is, everything kind of gets lumped together. We do have a few clearly demarcated forms of allergies, which we are all aware of, I'm sure. However, it still remains kind of loose, which is relatively unfortunate for individuals who experience acute bouts of allergic reactions. Though a primary concern of mine resides in the fact that EIB has such a potent influence on whether or not a child has impaired quality of life or not, as EIB is known to restrict children from engaging in commonplace activities with their peers, thus hindering their personal development. And we understand through numerous psychological studies how important social interactions are for the developing child. Children are thus unable to engage in exploratory activities in large open space areas because if they increase their heart rate accidentally, then they may experience an extreme bout of allergies. Okay, so another noteworthy finding from the literature review that I did was that tolerance can develop concerning contemporary pharmacology. So what that means is the usage of a bronchodilator dosage increases in tandem with desired exercise intensity. But this is also highly individual with how much variation there is in between different people. But regardless, we do see how burdensome this is. So anecdotally speaking, if I wake up one day and decide that I would like to achieve a PR in my 3K, I'm already equipped with the preconceived notion that I better have my EpiPen and bronchodilator on deck, which my Saba inhaler has saved me numerous times. But this does segue into how I'd like to generate funding for the advancing of research. As someone who runs a lot, I'd like to set the goal for people to donate like $1 or $2 for every 10 miles that I run, and I'll routinely post my mileage or link my Strava account, which is a running application that lists all of your recent runs so people could see how many miles I'm actually running on a day-to-day basis. However, funding isn't necessarily my main priority with this campaign. It's more so to spread awareness to the public. I suspect by imparting a certain degree of knowledge to the public would do just fine. As a huge proponent of exercise for ordinary individuals, EIB has been shown to prevent many people from engaging in bouts of exercise because they fear the potential onset of many different symptoms. And if someone's able to avoid the symptoms altogether by not doing a specific thing, then it's kind of intuitively obvious which one to choose. Voluntary suffering or repose. And the repose is always going to win, which is unfortunate because of how beneficial it is to engage in bouts of exercise. Oh, I don't want to be remiss and not mention that EIB symptoms are typically attenuated by engagement in exercise, so frankly that's actually really cool. Oh, and finally, EIB is an overall challenging ailment to diagnose because of the manifestation of non-specific symptoms, as it often goes unnoticed by physicians or allergists. And this could potentially be rectified by filling the gaps in the literature. So being able to separate one type of allergy from another, because it's quite obvious that we don't have the means to do so at the moment. So thank you for your time. Please consider sharing this video or my page so the public is informed about this uncommon experience.